Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order, 10 o'clock. If we'd all stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gracious God, we come to you today as a board. We ask that you join us and give us knowledge and wisdom in operating the senior center. We ask for guidance for our staff and our executive director, and may we serve the seniors in the community well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Director Alan Lynch. Here. Director Pam McKinnon. President Bill Potter.
Here.
Vice President Lauren Flicker.
Here.
Secretary Robert Turek, present. And our Commissioner Liaison Carolyn Brumman is absent and excused.
So we'll need approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Motion by McKinnon, seconded by Terry to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from our August 27th meeting.
I make the motion to approve the minutes from August 27th meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion by McKinnon, seconded by Terry to approve the minutes of our August 27th regular meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment, you have 2 minutes. Please give your name and township.
Judy French, Haines Township. Couple things, the last meeting, I actually left early because it drove me nuts. Please get better control when there's people talking and control a meeting better, please. It was an absolute shit show. Other thing is, the transportation bus. I know it was discussed last time briefly. It's been discussed for many meetings in a row. But why not sell it? I mean, I understand that it's just sitting since last month, some miraculous thing has happened. It just seems silly, to me to keep holding on to something, when transportation is pretty much not a thing anymore. Yeah. Oh, and hopefully the, food temperature thing has been taken care of. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah. No other public comments. We'll close public comment, move to presentations. Mr. Shaw. A little bit more. That's good.
That's it.
So, I'd like to start with residential. So the senior houses, we have, all the septics are in. We're waiting for the last couple of appliances this week, so, just talked to Alex Cole this morning, so I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, they'll be delivering the remaining appliances. We're in the process of finishing the topsoiling. We've got probably about half of the topsoil down, and then we'll move to seeding. We still have to run the water lines into the space. And otherwise, everything else is finished. So the kitchen, counters are in, cabinets, everything is pretty much been through a final clean. We'll do one more clean when we're 100% done. So that's where we're at. It's just a matter of running the water pipe back there. And we've got 3 different trades that are bidding it right now, and we'll just see how that goes. But we kind of need, it doesn't really do us any good to get the water in there before we have the well functioning, but kind of want ideally to go hand in hand. So that's that. And then up front in the building, so the roof is 100% on the entire structure. We just have a couple little button up things where it's a little gotta finish a little plumbing and do a couple penetrations, but we're at 99.9 in the grove, we're watertight, which is great. And then on the outside, we have the stucco or plastering, so people know it is drive it, but we're working on that, so that's coming along. The fellows out there today at Superior Plastering, and they're going along, just putting on the foam and cutting the grooves, putting on the base coat, final coat. So a lot of that has been done in the upper portion of the building. You can't really tell it. There's a lot of upper walls, and so he's got quite a bit of the actual foam on the building, and he's probably about 60% of foam applied, so that's moving along. All of our glass frames are now on site, so they're in different process, different spots of having it finished versus installing. Glass is on its way. We should have some glass actually today, and so they'll just keep plugging right along, putting the glass in and getting the windows finished. Then on the HVAC, our units are en route still. They're coming from various parts of the country and getting accumulated in one location, and then they'll bring them out here when we have the crane. So very soon, next couple of weeks, we should have the HVAC units on the roof. We do have gas to the building already. Phil signed the easement for consumers, which was the final element to get the electricity coming. So I say we're 2 to 3 weeks of having electricity to the building, which is huge. On the water well, I talked to Dave at the health department yesterday. And then Tate is ready to go. So very soon, probably and even in a week or so, I'm gonna pull the trigger on that and just get that water well going, the first portion. We have 2, so it'll be the first portion. Let's see, on the inside, we have all of our underground plumbing installed, all of our underground electric installed. We're pouring concrete each day this week. They're actually pouring concrete right now. So by the end of the week, this week, we should have all of the concrete in the southern portion of the building, everything not in the gym done. And then by the end of next week, we should have all the concrete finished inside. So that's really huge. We started building walls on last Friday. So they're already making really good progress. For instance, if you walk in there today, the walls making the electric room, the storage room, the computer area, those walls are all installed, and then they're just making good headway. They're moving to the offices, working on the offices right now, put the walls in. And then that's it. Once we get the walls in, we'll start running electric in the walls and that kind of thing. And then on the inside electric, we're putting flame resistant plywood on 2 walls in the mechanical room today. And then that will allow the electrician to fasten his panels directly to the walls. And those should be here in about a week or so. So that's the electrical side. And then we're in communication with the gym floor guy, just making sure he understands we're putting a real special, it's a really thick plastic, different than Visqueen. There's a particular ASTM standard for beading, but it's to really prevent any moisture from going up into that gym floor. So that product we bought, and it's on its way, should probably be here Wednesday, and then we'll start putting that down in the gym and actually getting that concrete going, which is kind of a little bit special in all regards. So a special mesh, special type of concrete, also that gym floor behaves well over time. So that's that, and then outside, we've got to do some underground electric for the site lighting. And just got to get once the gutters are in with FED core, we've got to connect those to the catch basins. And then those are the last 2 things, and then we'll be able to start paving. So that's where we are, just come along. And then Dr. Turk arranged for an extension to the end of May. And I'm sorry, the end of March rather, and we're just going as quickly as we can, and we'll see how each one progresses.
I have a question. When do you think the housing can be rented out?
I think we're definitely safe for December 1 and perhaps sooner. So I guess as soon as George Tate gets out and drills 1 well, and we see how we're doing. We need, the water first goes into the building, and that's where it gets electricity to run the pumps, and then there's a manifold in there, so the water comes together with some pressure tanks, and then it goes two directions. One is, of course, into the building, and the other is out to the housing. And so there kind of a lot has to come together for that water to, to be functional. We need to be on permanent power. And, so that's, I feel like, we use December 1 as a good safe date, and hopefully sooner.
And the heat will be available at that time
Well,
and,
the heat's on right now. We
Oh.
had on a couple of cold days, well, we had cold days, I don't know, 3, 4 weeks ago in the morning. And we ran all the heat just to make sure everything, came right up to snuff. And then we had some hot days a while back and ran all the AC to pull it down. So, yeah, they're really efficient. I think the actual monthly heating and cooling bill is gonna be negligible for, for the occupants. And they're just, the buildings are really tight, really built well, so they react quickly. I know like on the one I went into, there was a couple windows that were open, and I'm saying that it was probably 58 degrees one morning in a house, I think, because the unit was off, and I kicked it down to 71, and, it didn't take nothing, it was up to 71, so yeah. And all the generators are on and tested. We ran each one of those for an hour or two, just to make sure they're good, so at this moment, all those are functioning. That's something I want to mention too, is that we're gonna be taking, this generator over to the main building. And then it's a single phase 12208, which is, 12240 actually, that suits the electricity in this building. But the new building is 3-phase, 277, 480 volt. And so it requires a different kind of, generator, and we'll kind of be swapping out, that to make it work for the new building, so. But, so that'll be happening pretty soon, and then, yeah, that's about it. We're, got communications, we got, conduit going out to the pole, and so we're getting close to, bringing in the communication, we'll see exactly who we end up with, but we'll have a conduit to the pole, and whoever it is will come off the same pole, so. That's that, and then otherwise, just plugging right along.
thank you.
Thank you.
Any other- Okay, I'll let you get back to your concrete.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for the shirt.
Yep. What's the rest? Okay, so we'll pass on that.
Your mic's off.
What? Oh, okay, John, oh, the battery must be dead.
Here,
Yeah.
you wanna use mine?
No, I got it right here. I got one right here. Yeah. Okay, move on to the executive director.
I have presented the budget for 24-25 to the finance committee. And as we discussed, it's basically the same as last year, because we're still going off of everything here. Later on, we'll have to readjust and add GLs and everything when we get into the new building. And then for job postings, probably the beginning of November, we'll have to start posting some jobs, for the new building, probably starting off part-time. An event planner, fitness coordinator, and janitor maintenance. For the meals, we served a total of 3,089 meals for the month of August, with 560 being congregate. And we did get 13 new clients on home delivered meals in the month of August. For in-home services, last month I reported that we had 18 people on our waiting list. I had on here that we were at 8, but over the last few days, we're down to 4 now. So we're doing good on getting them filled in. Some miscellaneous stuff that, we had reached out to Design Concepts to find out on the small white truck, what it would be worth. The Doug, who we've been working with, said the box is only, the refrigeration system is only about $800. So, I'm working with Megan on getting that posted. We were both off for a couple days last week, so, and we're gonna stick it out there for, as is for 2,500. Start out, and then on, Friday the 13th, we had one of our mandatory staff meetings. I think it was a really good meeting. I got a lot of compliments from the employees. We did some team building, we handed out our new ACCOA t-shirts. We celebrated Dana's 20-year anniversary. Patty is actually right now working on getting snowplow and, lawn care quotes for the new building. She's got a couple of people that are gonna go out, to the site and talk with Andy, so, that is happening over this week. And then I had wanted to congratulate Kim. She completed her MMAP, which is Michigan Medicare Assistance Program, as a counselor. She does need to take the exam to get certified, so she'll be working on that, and she'll be working with Kitty from NEPSCA, who is the planning and volunteer coordinator who does that. So Kim will officially be able to help people get enrolled and stuff with Medicare. And I spoke with Jeff Dobbs, and he is working on an election flyer for us. So I should be hearing back from him either today or tomorrow with that, and then we can look at it and decide if we need to tweak it, or it's right, or like we want it, so. That's about all I have.
I have a question, Wendy. The event planner, is that for planning when the basketball kids will come in and when the kids come in for the games? And if it is, that can't be taken out of millage money, can it? Out of senior millage? Or am I wrong on that?
The event planner would, I'm not sure.
Wouldn't they be an
Would they-
employee? Wouldn't they be an
they would be
employee of
an
the village of the ACCO?
I guess. Are the events strictly through the, Sunrise Center or ACCO? I mean, we
That
have.
sounds like our meeting.
Right, because right now we could rent this building out and it would be under ACCOA. So, I mean, that's something we're gonna have to decide.
Yeah, okay. Is the white truck gonna be advertised in the local paper also?
Yeah, I can if you want it to be.
I think it should be, because a lot of people don't look at the computer thing.
I don't even look at the paper. I won't buy it. We can put it in there, but. Hopefully they'll run
Well,
it.
when you talked the other night at the senior center and you were telling us about the millage. And I might be saying this wrong, but I think you said that the millage money is only going to be for senior programs.
Right.
So that's why I'm asking about if we're gonna have the high school basketball kids come and play basketball in the gym part of it, is that a ACCOA program?
No, needs to be discussed. I mean, yeah, we pretty much discussed with all in the finance.
We had a
meeting.
finance meeting where a lot of this was discussed, and we'd be very willing to update you on that.
Well, I think the whole board should be updated on it. You know, if there's a question, it'd be nice for the whole board to know.
I understand, Dolores, but nothing's written in stone yet, so for us to come out and be out on live video saying something that could be interpreted when it's tweaked a little bit is not the proper place, in my opinion, for this conversation. I'm not trying to hide anything, but if you say something, you better be ready to commit to what you're saying, and we're not there yet.
If you don't say anything, then people get the wrong idea and say something not true anyway.
Exactly. So if you have questions, Bob and I and Wendy and everybody would be willing to get with you and talk about it.
Yeah, nothing's
I don't think
concrete
we
yet.
really know till we get there and.
I'll give you one of my examples is, we're going down a road that we've never traveled before. You've never traveled it, I've never traveled it, we've never had a center like we're gonna have. We've never been able to do anything for the citizens, the public or anybody, so. Will be something that we have to look at grants, maybe, but right now, we're traveling down this road that it's gonna be month to month, everything's gonna be.
Well, the question is, out there in the community, is millage money gonna pay for all this stuff in the new building? So that's why I'm kind of
So,
asking.
Not all of it, and we don't have a list of which is which. But we will have. We're talking July and we're just in the end of September.
Right.
I mean, the millage money is strictly for ACCOA programs. So if a basketball team comes in there, absolutely not, it's not. But to pay an employee to clean or run the basketball tournament or whatever needs to be done, if we're charging somebody to rent that hall, that's what's gonna pay for somebody's income
Yeah,
of
and
their paycheck,
that was my question.
yeah.
That's, okay, thank you.
But we wouldn't be doing anything that wouldn't cover our costs. I mean, we wouldn't rent out to a tournament that brings in less money than our expenditures to run it. So I think it's still safe to say, anybody who's been following things for the last year and a half, the board has made sure that every single dollar is being spent for Alcona seniors, and that will be exactly the case going forward.
Okay. That's, is that your report, Wendy?
Yep.
Okay. We'll move on to treasurer's report. Roland, you have anything?
Okay, do the best I can. Hard to read this because my glasses. Working funds checking, Jordan, as of 8/31/2024. $192,834.01. Your life account. $994,682.44. Subtotal. $1,187,516.45. New building project funds as of 8/31/2024. Checking AAA credit union. $1,000,000. $393.67. $673.87. Money market, AAA credit union. $4,316.74. New York Life. $3,734,360. $66.09. Subtotal, $5,180,000. $668.70. New building received $6,250,000. New building received final funding as of 7/24/24. $6,250,000. Total amount spent as of 9/18/24. $8,202, $388.63. If I've been saying some of these, numbers correctly, because I had, some information. And my understanding, quite focused. I tried my best to get them focused, read the numbers right.
I need a motion to accept treasurer's report
I'll make a motion to accept it.
with subject audit.
Yes, subject to audit, sorry.
We have a second.
I'll accept it as written. Not necessarily said, subject to audit, I'll second that.
We have a motion by Swickard, seconded by McKinnon to accept the treasurer's report as presented. If we, have a roll call, please.
Turner, yes. Schlinger,
Yes,
Potter,
Yes,
McKinnon,
Yes,
Lynch.
Yes,
motion carried. On to secretary's report.
I had one thing I kind of wanted to clarify what Andy had said, and some of this we went over in our committee notes that I have there, is that we applied to the MEDC to extend the terms of the grant out till March. And to clarify that, that means we have until the end of March to spend every dollar. Now, the building and everything might be 100% done or close to it by the end of December. But what Andy is doing is he would withhold final payment to a lot of contractors to make sure there's no leaks and everything functions properly. Till there's warranty, he's gotten to receive the warranties or the guarantees on everything, till the state has signed off on, let's say, the fire suppression. So he holds back maybe 10% for these final people until he makes sure everything is correct. So the building might be done by December 31st for all intents and purposes, but the money, our final dollar of that 12.5 million might not be spent for a couple months, depending on Andy. You know, what if something malfunctions and they have to order a part and it's on back order and it takes a month? You know, that's the kind of thing. So he's not gonna pay. It's just like if you had your home done, you'd pay half, or home repair half done, and you don't pay that second half until it's completed to your satisfaction. That's what he's gonna do also. So we have till the end of March to expend that complete amount, every last dollar of that 12.5 million. So that paperwork has been completed. So we're all set as far as that goes. And not much more, just a lot that we went over in the finance committee. It should be right there in front of you.
Okay. Yeah, that's it? For now?
That's it for me.
Okay. Committee reports.
If anybody has any questions on that, we went over quite a lot of things as determined, it's in our financial handbook that we as a board, the finance committee reviews the proposed budget as presented by the executive director. which we did, we vote to make a recommendation to the entire board to accept that budget. And then Wendy presents that to the commissioners, and all that has to be done today. So we, as the finance committee, did review the budget that you have in front of you, and we're making a recommendation that we vote on that and adopt that as the entire board, and then present that to the commissioners as our agreement with the commissioners. But there's a lot there that we went over there, including, you know, disposal of the white delivery vehicle. You know, pertinent to one of the public comments, Wendy is pursuing a pilot program to use the ACCOA transportation vehicle on some small local trips to see if this would be cost effective to do for the future. Is that fair to say? So, you know, seeing if that is something that would be done going forward.
Have you sent out the survey yet? On that?
I actually sat down with some of the congregate one night and we made a list of things that they were interested in doing. So I have Patty is reaching out to our driver this week to find out, or she may have last week, I was on for a couple of days, to find out some dates that will work for him, because he has a chauffeur's license, and then we'll start setting up stuff.
One other thing on the second page that, I mean, all this is self-explanatory, but we did set a date for kind of a sneak peek public preview, local preview of the Sunrise Center and the bungalows. That's gonna be on Sunday, October 20th. From 12 to 5, there'll be guided tours, refreshments. And then the official grand opening will be probably somewhere in January. But this, you know, sneak peek public preview on October 20th is just to let people see kind of what's been going on there and get an idea of how that looks.
Are we gonna advertise this in the paper and have maybe so the public knows that they can come in that day?
Well, it's certainly out on social media for right now. Megan put that on Facebook for sure.
Megan made up flyers and put it out on social media.
I've been to the commissioners meeting with Pam. I've been to Alcona, Fairfield Township, City of Harrisville, Village of Lincoln. So we're kind of notifying some of the local business, local government agencies also. So there's probably, word of mouth is probably the best way to let.
I would like to see it put in the paper and maybe get on better terms with the paper. You know, get the paper involved in us again and, you know, start fresh with them. I know a lot of people is anti-paper, but I think we should reach out to them again and trying to mend the fences and get on better terms.
Actually, this is going to be like. Actually, Dolores, this is just kind of like a soft preview. It isn't like the grand opening or anything, so.
Right,
if you
but
get more people than what you can handle, then you're gonna make a flop instead of doing it proper.
what I'm saying is it's coming just before the election. It very well could really help. It might, people might come in and say, wow, this is beautiful. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Actually, the election for the millage is just a renewal. We didn't ask for a request,
I understand that.
so it's the day-to-day operation, just as if it was still in this building.
But it can still be turned down.
It very well could be. But
We can
still
try to-
stuck with the building that we didn't necessarily ask for, so we still gotta move forward.
But is it,
We can try to reach out to the paper.
yeah,
You
is
gotta
it-
remember, I don't know what they charge. It was like $100 for a small little thing on the paper. Do we wanna spend that money for that, or do we wanna just put it in the classified ads that, you know, for nothing? Do we wanna, or do we just reach out to the congregates and put it out on the Meals on Wheels in a flyer and, how do you want, you know? I suppose we could reach out and see what an ad will cost.
I think it's certainly reasonable to reach out to them
I do
at
too.
their expense. Since it's a public notice or it's something that's going on in our community, generally you shouldn't have to pay the paper to report the news. So I mean, it's kind of a newsworthy event that
Yeah.
they should be able to do without an expense to us. I
Maybe
mean,
it would help if some of the seniors would contact the paper and say, hey, why have you blackballed the ACCOA? You know, why aren't you reporting on what's going on? Like, that works both ways, in my opinion.
I say anybody who wants to contact the paper and let them know that October 20th this is going on, they should be happy to do that. And since it is a public service, I think the paper generally would put that at their home bill. I mean, it doesn't have to be an advertisement. This is for the whole community. I mean, I would think they would be, the community is invited. They'd be happy to run something like that, you would think, but
Would you want to do that, Phil, or? I would go talk to them too. I mean, I think we should get involved with them and get them involved with us and get a better communication between them and us.
We did a story on the houses, just for example, 45-minute interview. We got maybe 20 seconds on TV.
That was the television in Alpena, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that
I'm just
doesn't-
saying, that's kind of with the coverage we're getting on everything. It's like, yeah, we'll put that in. No, it never showed up in the paper. That was on the millage, never showed up in the paper. It's like, how many times do you have to bow down, you know, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. I'm okay with putting it in the paper for that day. What does that fall on, October 20th?
It's a Sunday, it says.
October 20th is a Sunday, which, you know, Andy, his crew is working 6 days a week, so we
Right.
really wouldn't do it during a weekday. It would be
Correct.
interfering with him. We can't do it on a Saturday, he's working, so the Sunday is the best day until.
Correct,
From 12
And I
to
think it was
5, okay.
12 to 5. Yeah,
If that's a money thing, do we need to vote on that, or is it just under a budget, or are we just reaching out to see if they're gonna do it?
I would think we reach out and see if they would
Okay,
do something at no fee. I mean, I think that's well within Wendy's permission not permission, but job duty that she wants to run an ad.
right.
That's well within her rights, so. But I think it's certainly nice to reach out to them and
Sure.
get them to say, hey, do your job.
Okay. Any other committee reports?
And then the only other thing we talked about is that we did form let's call it a committee, to support it's actually the name of it is the Committee to Support the Senior Services Millage. Now, this is not affiliated with the ACCOA. No ACCOA funds or staff time is used, to do this. This is just anybody who wants to donate to help us put out signs or flyers in order to support the millage or do whatever. So, you know, an account is open, it's you can make a deposit into that account at Northland, or you can bring in money to Wendy and she'll make sure it gets into the right account, but this is not ACCOA funds. And this is not an ACCOA committee, this is just a separate committee that, in order to get the millage support behind the millage.
I have are we still on this?
Yep.
On number 14, says Carolyn will be contacting the Elkona Emergency Services. We're designated as a warming and cooling center. What does that mean? If the electricity goes out, people can come there and get warm and get a meal, or?
Mhm.
Correct, and so
Okay.
Carolyn put Scott Rice in contact with Andy and probably Phil, that they're gonna coordinate to see, because Scott Rice might have grants that they can apply for to get 100 blankets or something like that, that we can store in the new, facilities, so that if there's a outage, power outage or anything, people can come, because we're gonna have generators and backup
Okay.
water.
actually, that's why we got the generator we have, is because we are considered a warming and cooling center right now.
Right,
And there's gonna be 6 showers that Andy says that they can run continually they don't run out of water, things so it's gonna be quite a bonus, so the septic system got upgraded basically to provide that additional service to the community, so we have a huge septic system that can handle any extra like that, so yes, Andy and Phil probably have been, and the whole committee's been put in contact with Scott Rice.
We have no more committee reports. Moved on, finished business. Senior bungalow rental agreement has been signed with Sarah Jane from Real Estate One. She's working on, rental form, she's working on the background check, she's working on getting applications. I put a call into her yesterday and she was with a client. She texted me that she would call me back and I have not received a call back as of yet. So, that's that, but she's planning on having, I talked to Ted Summers, to try to get us tax exempt. And we filled out the forms, give him all the paperwork necessary. And he had to have it by October 31st. And then he will put everything together and he has to have it to the state by December 31st. And then we'll find out if we're tax exempt on the senior bungalows. As of right now, we're not. So that's what we had to deal with. So that's where we are on the agreement.
Was it your opinion that we need to make an official resolution or board motion saying we're asking a certain rent and it's specifically the board saying this is for seniors or ACCOA members, something like that? Did you want to do that? Or did she need that?
On the agreement, with Sarah, she had mentioned fair housing analysis, which can't use it for seniors, but we can make a resolution that we're renting it to seniors. It's a senior housing project. That was what it was intended for. So the board should, probably make a resolution or an amendment to it and say, yes, the houses will be rented to seniors. Believe it is 60 years of age or older.
Do we need a motion for that right now?
Yeah, we have to make a resolution.
I'll make a motion that we rent to senior citizens 60 years of age or older only.
I would second that. I would like to add a little bit to that. I'd like to add that they need to be ACCOA members also.
Well, the only problem with that is, what if this little lady down here doesn't come to eat or doesn't get any of our services, then she's not a member. Right? So does that mean we can't rent to her even though she's 75 or 95?
Oh, doesn't she, all she has to do, become a member, sign a paper, right? Isn't it an app?
You gotta have
right?
one of our services
Should have given us a service,
and do a
Whether it's-
NAPAS form.
yeah.
So
Whether
she has
it's-
to come like once or just buy a $3 meal or
Yeah.
something.
That's,
Minimal, I agree with Bob.
I don't think it's unreasonable if the ACCOA owns these properties for the ACCOA to require you to be an ACCOA member. I mean, I don't think that's an unreasonable request that you're
I don't either.
using our property, we're renting to you, but that you're a member of the ACCOA. You come in and fill out a NAPAS form, eat one meal, you're done for a year.
I mean, it's one meal.
I know, but I'm just wondering, are we gonna be accused of discrimination? Because we won't let that man that,
Or so she
You know,
has to do
whatever.
is sign an app form.
I understand, they gotta have one of our services.
It doesn't fall under discrimination.
All right, whatever.
Well, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I mean.
Okay, so we have a motion by Pam.
What?
Did you make the motion? Dolores made the motion.
You know, I proposed an amendment to that, and whether she, you know.
She's
Yeah.
okay with that
Yeah.
amendment? Okay, so You wanna make the motion again so it's presented properly?
I'll make a motion that we rent to our senior housing to seniors only, and they must be a member of ACCOA.
I would second that.
Okay, motion by Slicker, seconded by Terry, to rent our senior bungalows to seniors that must be a member of the ACCOA. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Appointment to fill vacant seat on the board. We have a gentleman who has expressed interest, filled out all of his forms. We did background checks, everything is good. So we just need a motion to appoint Leroy Pender to the board, effective on Wednesday.
I will make a motion to elect Leroy Pender to join the board on
Wednesday,
Wednesday, the 25th of September.
correct.
elect or appoint?
Appoint,
It doesn't matter, does it?
it has to be appointed.
Appointed.
Election's over.
I'll second it.
I would like to just as add to that, to make it for one of the vacant 3-year terms. There we have vacant 1-year terms, and we have vacant 3-year terms. I would like to make it for a 3-year term. I would propose that.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree too.
you wanna re-motion that?
Okay, I make a motion to appoint Leroy Pender to a 3-year term as of September 25th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion by McKinnon, seconded by
I second it.
Doors.
I second.
Okay. Seconded. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
you have to do that.
And do we have to, Bob Rollins, just, he's up for election tomorrow, right?
The voting closes at dinner time tonight.
Tonight.
Tomorrow is when the ballots get counted.
Correct.
He's officially
Okay.
elected, so that you can still vote through the end of the day.
New business approval of the 24-25 fiscal year budget.
With this, I just think it's important to know that, you know, Wendy and her team drew up the budget basically based upon the known expenditures. It's basically the same budget as last year because so many things are unknown, but the finance committee will be meeting at least once a month to go over any changes. As Phil has said numerous times, budgets change all the time. It's a piece of paper that you change. So the finance committee will be doing that, but you know, to adhere with our financial handbook and the requirements of the commissioners, we have to approve a budget to present to them.
I don't think it's ever been done before, has it? Or it's been done, but,
We finally did
Proper,
it last
yeah,
year.
right.
The way that was supposed to be done.
right,
And one of the things we talked about in the committee meeting is that this year, amongst all the other differences, I mean, we're not gonna have a $90,000 delivery truck, that expense. We're not gonna have all the expenses paying the small business loan, payments every month. Our legal bills should be quite a bit lower, so, you know, that's why, you know, her expenditures are quite lower than the revenue. So we expect that, you know, that to change as the new expenditures come online. So I would make a motion that we take the recommendations of the finance committee and adopt the 24-25 fiscal year budget as presented.
I'll second.
motion by Turek, seconded by McKinnon to approve the 2024-2025 fiscal year budget as presented. Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
McKinnon,
Yes.
Potter,
Yes,
Schlenker,
Yes,
Curry, yes.
pass. Okay. Public comment. Limit 2 minutes per person. Please give your name and township. Know where you're from, but I'll take it anyway.
Thanks again, what township you live in.
Judy French, I'm in Haynes Township now. Because the millage was part of the discussion, I just wanted to let you guys all know that it's probably been a couple of weeks ago, but I got a message through social media asking me like, hey, there's a rumor that this is a new millage because of the new building. And I said, no, I said, I haven't, as far as I know, there's no new millages. It's strictly a renewal. So I would suggest discussing potentially even putting something in the paper that clarifies. Also, social media, use that, that's totally free, put that out there. But I would suggest every way, shape and form of putting out there that this is a renewal. The money is for services that are already offered to our seniors. Anything to clarify that this millage is not being requested because of the new building. Just suggestion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Public comment closed. Director's additional comments and concerns. Bob? Any additional comments?
I'm
Laura?
wondering where we are with the lawsuit with Lenny, the insurance company. Are they contacting any of us or telling us where we're at or what's happening with it?
I always go by no news is good news, but, I think we're in litigation. We can't really talk about, ongoing legal business, that being that's in litigation with the attorneys, so I'm just waiting, sitting back, waiting. Like I said, no news is good news, so that's why I feel anyway.
So our insurance attorney and Lenny's attorney is talking back and forth and they're deciding what's gonna take place?
I know it's in litigation, that's all I can.
And do we have a say in that?
Not with, if the attorney calls us and asks us, yeah, but. we put
Otherwise-
Everything in her hands. She's our attorney, she's representing us to the best of her.
Right, but shouldn't we have a say in, are we going to just pay him off and say, okay, here's $50,000?
Depends on what the judge says, it's in,
I
it's in
understand.
litigation. It's going to court, it's gonna be represented in front of a judge.
It is going to be then?
Yeah,
So we're not just paying him off like we have in the past?
who said we paid him off in the past? I don't. think
Not
we have.
him, we have paid,
That was under the new board, the old board and the old director.
but we're not doing that then.
Well, I'm dead against giving him a donut, but anyway,
I think
that's-
it's probably the stuff that's best not spoken of. Yeah, it's an ongoing litigation. I don't think we should probably.
no, that's,
Okay.
no, that's litigation, it's,
All right,
so,
I had a couple things
okay.
that had come up that I don't know that everybody knew that since Sarah Jane at Real Estate One is being the property manager. If someone wants to rent the senior bungalows, she has programs available to help people if they don't think they can afford what we have said is the rent. So that's not the ACCOA doing that. We're not having to have Wendy do that. That's a property manager. So there's programs available to help people who might want to go there, but they don't think they can afford it. So that's something you need to contact her. That's not done through the ACCOA specifically. We don't want to have to be involved in dealing with the government or programs or whatever, but they are out there, but that's who Sarah Jane is gonna handle that. And then regarding the millage, technically, when they changed the language on these things, that if you want to consider it a renewal, you're subject to the Headley amendment where you get less money than what you had originally run the millage for. So we did it so that we wanted the same amount of money. So it is a renewal. We're asking it to be at the same amount, to remain the same amount that it was originally approved. But whether it shows up on the ballot or not is a renewal, because that has to do with their terminology, the state's terminology. But no, it has nothing to do with the new building. This is to fund ACCOA programs like it always has been, whether they called it renewal or not, that's just terminology as far as the state goes. But these are funds, had nothing to do with the grant, had nothing to do with the new building, to fund congregate meals, in-home services, home delivered meals, just like it always has. Now, is there misinformation out there? Probably. Is there intentional misinformation out there? Possibly. I don't know, but everyone should know this is to fund our operations. Whether we were here in this building or in a new building, these millage funds, that's what they're supposed to be used for. Like I said, it's that language, whether it's a renewal, you put it as a quote unquote renewal, you get less money, as opposed to asking that it specifically remain at the original approved amount. And that's what the language is. We're asking for the same amount as what we've always got, rather than taking a less cut because of this Headley amendment. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But, as far as the public, yeah, we probably have some work left to do, but we have time left to do also. We have time to do that.
And on that note, I've heard that the new building's costing people, their taxes are going up on their property. It has nothing to do with property tax. The state department does that. They go around and check your houses and everything, and they recommended the state for your property tax. This building being built has nothing to do with your property taxes going up. I'm telling you, everything has went up, and my property tax went up, and it had nothing to do with that building. It was state equalization value went boom. And I'm like, that's a common thing. Every year it goes up. So, I hope people can squash the rumor that because of the new building, your property taxes are going up. No, it is not. Bottom line. So
I mean,
that's what I have.
in hindsight, it probably would have been better if we just phrased it as a renewal and taken less money. I don't think any of us really understood it fully. We had the county clerk helping us put the language together, Carolyn, who's done this for numerous times. So it was interpreted or decided that this was the best way to do it, how we're doing it. Is it a little less clear? Yes. I don't know if the misinformation would have been completely taken care of just because of the language on it. I don't think it's the language that I think there's misinformation out there. But this goes to senior services, just like always.
Anything else? That's it. Then, I'll close the director's additional comments and we'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. I'll entertain it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Schlicker, seconded by Roland Lynch to adjourn the meeting. Adjourned.
Where's your thing?
In the box somewhere. Here.
Yeah.
In the box somewhere.